For the next presentation, I would like to invite Mr. Ansgar Sprette, Director Postage Stamp from BDR. Yes, it's so fast. Another WADP associate member who takes us to another world of the stamps industry with his presentation, Hybrid Stamps in Germany, first summary of 20 months after launch. Ansgar, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olfa. Let me begin with saying thank you. Thank you to the organization of the hosting country for this event here, and especially for the event yesterday. And thank you to WADP for organizing the content and being there for every question and for your help and for your support. My name is Ansgar Sprette. I'm part of the Bundesdruckerei, or shortly BDR, and I'm working in the department for value printing, and the value printing department is concentrating on the products banknotes, security systems, and postage stamps. My presentation will be divided in 5 parts, and I will start at the first part with presenting a little bit of my company and likewise about the postage stamp portfolio. Then I will speak about a little bit hybrid postage stamps in general, but in particular about the experiences that customers made, that collectors or philatelists made, and of course that the impact on a manufacturer. So Bundesdruckerei is placed in the heart of Berlin. So we are really in the middle, and it is a security company in the hand of the government. So our owner is the Ministry of Finance in Germany. And for over 250 years, we produce security documents such as banknotes, ID cards, passports, driver licenses, vehicle documents, and of course, postage stamps. In the recent years, we transformed ourselves also to a supplier of IT, secure digital solutions, such as digital identities, as well as security data protection and the trustworthy digitization of authorities and governments. And no matter if it's analog or digital, everything has to do with security. So security is our job. And that is also why we are certified in the ISO CWA 14298 Intergraph with central bank level. So some figures about the company. We have 3,500 employees and annual sales from last year of about 770 million, and nearly half of it was made in ID documents such as passports and ID cards. So you can say this is the key product that we are dealing with. And the value printing, the department where I come from, is rather small. It's traditionally in Bundesdruckerei that those security documents like banknotes and postage stamps have a rather smaller part in the sales. Here you can see some figures, production figures of the most important physical products that we are dealing with. And most important, of course, for me is around 1 billion of postage stamps that we produced in the last year. So it has a long history producing postage stamps in Bundesdruckerei. The first stamp that we have produced was in 1815 for the Kingdom of Prussia. And since then, the national postal operator was and still is the main customer for the Bundesdruckerei. So we are producing the most stamps for the Deutsche Post. And that's why our product portfolio here, divided in 5 types, is pretty much linked to the needs of this most important customer. And the 5 components are stamps, self-adhesive stamps in a roll in a dispenser box, and gummed stamps, that is typically the definitive series, traditional gummed sheets with 10 stamps on it, self-adhesive stamp sheets with also 10 stamps in it, and so-called jumbo rolls for bulk franking in letter shops. So by just looking on the number, you can see we have the most stamps that we produce them in rolls, about 81%. Yeah, why rolls? Well, rolls are still the way to frank when you go to the post office and buy a single stamp. Then you will get a stamp from a roll. And it's also convenient to use the dispenser boxes like in offices or doctor surgeries for mass franking. And we specialized ourselves in the last, I would say, 20 years in producing those stamps in rolls, and we invested quite a lot in automating this production line. So coming now back to the subject itself, hybrid postage stamps, we produced the first hybrid postage stamp that was issued from the German Post in February 2021. And we started our development in March 2020, so we had less than a year time to develop and to produce and to deliver. And this was really a struggling time because it felt almost like a rocket start. So, and to run after the ideas of the German Post and to follow their needs, but we succeed. First started the German Post only with stamps in sheet. So, but in the meantime, the whole product portfolio is converted to stamps covering the data matrix code. And so in the meantime, we had to adapt our production processes, our coding processes, so that we can also produce stamps in rolls. And I'm proud to say that we produced the world's first stamp roll with a data matrix code on it. And this is this stamp box with 100 self-adhesive stamps in a roll with the motif Gewitter, that means thunderstorm. And we produced 50 million of stamps of it. We are going now a bit more in the detail of the hybrid stamp and the data matrix code, and luckily, thank you, Paul, that I don't have to go into the details of how it works, but let's recall the 2 functionalities that are important. One is digital cancellation to prevent against misuse, reuse, and second is traceability. And what are now the experience of the customer? Well, of course, they have an impact. Now it would be visible if you reuse the stamp, you could be punished or even penalized. And second is, you are now able to trace your letter in a very light way, but you could prove that a mailing was actually sent. And the process of traceability, I would like to show you how it works in practice. So you take a very fresh, unused stamp, stick it on the letter, and then you take your smartphone and the DHL Deutsche Post app to scan the code, and then this is the result. Unfortunately, it's everything written in German because this application is only run in this language. Sorry for that, but I can explain the most important things. The status still is open, so we don't know about the tracking because it's fresh, but it has already an ID, and you can click on information for stamp, and then you can see the image, you can see the tracking number, you can see the running number, you can see from which product it comes from. The printer was Bundesdruckerei, surprisingly. The issue date, the face value, the quantities, and who was designer. So now the process, or this stamp on the letter runs through the process, and then you receive the letter, and then you can scan again. And now the status is no longer open. You have two additional informations. This stamp ran through 2 sorting centers, one in the area of the sender and the second sorting center in the area where the recipient is living, and both are giving information about when it's went through the process. This kind of tracking, Deutsche Post made of about 2 billion of letters since they launched the data matrix code in 2021. But it's not so common, this function. So although they made quite an extensive marketing activities, even my radio station, my independent small radio station in Berlin told in February last year, oh, there's a fancy new thing on postage stamps. It's a data matrix code on it. Important on the postal perspective is that they had to change the color of the cancellation ink from black to blue in order not to interfere with the recognition of the code. So now we switch the perspective and take the perspective of the collectors. So how did they react? And it was expected that they react kind of harsh because it's something new, it's something that could destroy the beauty of a stamp, but no, they didn't, almost. Why? Yeah, probably it's getting so much more convenient to see codes on new products. So it could mean like, oh, we're getting modern. Yes, we do. No, it was more like you have now a new field for researchers. Collectors are so used to look into the details of a printed stamp, and now they can look into the details of a printed code and find out. And yeah, there's a lot to explore. And I would give you one, I think it's really nice example what they done for a study. So you take a data matrix code, and the collectors found out in which area code information were placed. For example, this surrounded area is for the product type. So this code means, okay, I am a stamp coming from a self-adhesive roll. The more funny thing was to find out who printed the stamps. We are not alone in Germany printing stamps. We have 2 additional companies in Germany and our friends from Johan Enskede who also print stamps for the German Post. And this is the area where the printer is coded. And in order to find out immediately who is the printer of that stamp that is right here in hand, collectors created a kind of a layer or a template to lay over the data matrix code so that they can immediately see, okay, this is a stamp coming from Bundesdruckerei. And there are quite a lot of those examples where to find out a little bit more about the technical things in that code. So to summarize, collectors are really excited about this new topic. And now the last perspective, the perspective of us printers. And this is the presentation from Doris was really a good base to step on, because you already mentioned so many things that you have to take care of. But first of all, we were confronted with a good thing. The stamps were getting larger. And in the times that volumes are getting more and more lower, it's a good thing that a stamp will get more formats. So enlargement means that you have higher utilization of the printing and the processing machines. So we are running now in the same capacity as we did, I would say, 2 years ago. This was kind of goodwill sign from the German Post into the direction of the issuing instance, the Ministry of Finance, so that they said, although we implement this code, your design area will not be reduced. It was totally the other way. They maximize a little bit. But in fact, we are dealing with so many codes. 1.5 billion, that is exactly the same number that we run through our systems until now, but we only use 1.2 billions of codes just for the production. The rest was testing. And we made around 1 billion of postage stamps out of these codes. We equipped these 5 product types with a data matrix code, and we took 48 terabyte storage capacity for our database, used around 9,500 hours for developing and for project management. We installed 7 visions and inspection systems, and we installed a new coding machine. And as we are extremely proud of it, I would like to show you. And this is also the same like in your presentation. I also have a movie with me, and let's have a look. Starting from the wind-up, first inspection, then the heat generator, then the UV curing underneath, then the camera chip, most important camera, then we have the die cutting unit, now there's a sheeter unit, and after the sheeter unit, make a slide to the following processes. It's a converting line for rolls into small rolls. So we slit the web into single stripes, and we wind the stripes up to rolls of 100 in that case. Then we feed rolls into small conveyors, transport them to the packaging, and also to check them. So this is also an inspection unit, just to be sure that only good and valid codes comes into the packaging. And this is the packaging arm. Stuffed into dispenser boxes. Then we build a stack of 4, could be 10, and we shrink wrap and we bake them in the oven. Then just a label on top and over a weight. And then it's ready for packaging. Yes, thank you. That is all that I can say at the moment for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.